Hello, everybody, and welcome into a Monday edition of the Computer America Show, a little behind-the-scenes video. Welcome to the show. We've got a great show planned for you. In this first hour, we're going to be talking about something that you might not give too much thought to, but especially if you're a video gamer, there are video game laws, and we have an attorney here with us to talk on that subject. Ryan Morrison is going to be here with us in the first hour. And in the second hour of the show, we're going to have computer and technology news, and that's brought to you by Slimware Utilities, the official optimization software of Computer America. Just a little heads up, I thought we would have our brand new website up. It seems to be done, but I didn't want to switch over
3 minutes until showtime
to the new website, and just in case something went wrong. Technology gods do funny things, and so I figured I'll do that tonight after the show. So expect the new refurbished, revamped, refreshed Computer America website after tonight's show, and of course you'll see it for Tuesday's program. So sit back, relax, enjoy the show. We'll be starting in about 2.5 minutes. Okay, Ben, you're going to have computer news for me? Stories?
Yeah, probably. I've had telling this joke in the chat room. You should join the chat room, folks.
Yes, please join us in the chat room. Matter of fact, our guest is in the chat room. He's there with the nickname Morrison. That's our guest for the first hour, so if you can say hello to him as well.
Two minutes until showtime.
Oh, by the way, we have two News Tip Bulletin reviews by Marty Winston, editor, with a new bed, a new soundtrack. Gone is the little dial-up soundtrack, so let us know if you like it. I guess it's just part of our, constant refurbishing and retouching up and doing things here on Computer America.
Happening all the time.
Yes, it does. I got to figure out why Addison doesn't come in as an op. I have to make him an op every single time.
1 minute until showtime.
As far as op goes,
Mm-hmm.
opping someone isn't that hard.
Well, maybe you can help me do it, because I can't figure out why he's not being opped. You did it for yourself, so maybe you can figure out why it's not happening for Addison.
Yep.
Fort's throwing tomatoes at you in the chat room.
Yeah, my joke landed with mixed reactions. Like most great comics of our day.
All right, stand by 30 seconds.
Your show will go live in 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1.
Broadcasting live, it's America's longest-running national radio talk show on computers, Computer America, hosted by national columnist Craig Crossman. Look for Craig's weekly column in your favorite newspaper. This show is being beamed nationwide at ComputerAmerica.com. Keep it here for technology news, computer products, guest interviews, and your phone calls. You're listening to Computer America.
Hello, and welcome into the Computer America Show. It's the nation's longest-running, nationally syndicated radio talk show on computers. Computer America is heard around the world and coast to coast. And I'm your host, Craig Crossman.
And I'm your co-host, Ben.
So how was your weekend, Ben?
It was slightly on the awful side, actually, now you mention it.
No, really? I understand you got a flat tire.
Got 2 flat tires within 2 days.
2 flat tires? What are they doing on the road?
One blew on the highway, one was just cruising down a side road.
Oh, my gosh. And obviously having the weekend, so what, you had to wait till today to get the new tires and everything?
Yep, dropped it off. No car for the weekend. It was not the best weekend, but things happen.
Yes, they do. Yeah, they do. Technology gods can be against you, and I guess the car gods can be too. But certainly, but you weren't. I mean, everything happened. There was no.
Nope, just everything is breaking around me, but I am not breaking. So there's thankful for that.
Yes, it is. Yeah. Okay. Well, that's good. I take it then you didn't catch any movies, but you were playing a game tonight. So, a game that I'm not familiar with. What was it called?
Oh, Cars Against Humanity. Yeah, that's a game that I think the goal of it is to offend people as much as possible. If anyone is familiar with the card game Apples to Apples, it's the same thing except offensive.
Really?
Yep.
And people find this entertaining for some strange reason?
Oh, it's a great party game.
Okay. Oh, you're having a party. Okay. What better night than
of sorts. Yeah. What better night than Monday nights, right? Everyone is just in that mood.
Yeah, exactly. In the party fever, I mean, the weekend is just open. Okay, Monday. Well, yeah, it is Monday, and hopefully all of you had a wonderful weekend. And so we got a great show planned for you tonight. In hour 2, we're going to do computers and technology news, brought to you by Slimware Utilities, the official optimization software of Computer America. And our first show, we're going to be doing something. We're going to be covering something that maybe some of you really hadn't considered. But if you like video games, did you know that there are video game laws in place? That's right. We have attorney Ryan Morrison here, who specializes in video game law. We'll be talking to him momentarily. So this should be a very interesting program. Now, here, let me just get this out of the way. If you have any comments or questions for our guest and you want to call in and ask a question, just pick up the phone and dial us, 347-884-8881. That's 347-884-8881. We'll get you on and get you through. We also have a special email inbox set up when we're live and on the air. It's live, L-I-V-E, at computeramerica.com. You can also join us in our live interactive IRC chat room. From our homepage at computeramerica.com, you'll see the button that says chat room/video. Just click that, and you'll see the screen that asks you for a nickname. That's the name you'll be known by when you go in there. It'll ask, there's a little CAPTCHA verification that you have to put the number or letters in, and then click the connect button. And your browser will move you into the Computer America chat room. If you have Chatzilla or HexChats, a number of the plugins for your browser, it'll actually format it and it'll a little more stylized. But you can just go in with your browser, and of course, no Java required whatsoever. So thank goodness for that. So that'll move you into the chat room. And also, for those of you who like to watch things as well as you can see us on our live Computer America video streaming page, and that's brought to you by Other World Computing. Quality products, expert support since 1988, now celebrating their 25th anniversary. Any PC or Mac needs, hard drives, memory, you name it, please go there and check them out. They have the best values, www.macsales.com, and they're the award-winning Other World Computing. They just won, not one, but 2 Stevie Awards for 2 of their products. So check it out.
Congratulations.
Yes, big congratulations to Other World Computing. And we'll talk more about them in the second hour when we do our computer and technology news. But again, www.macsales.com. And please check them out. Okay, so anything else you want to mention before we bring our guest on, Ben?
No, just I'm excited about the new website that's going to be launching tonight.
Oh, yes, that's right. Thank you for reminding me. How could I forget? From time to time, we like to brush things up, dust them off, readjust, redo, and we felt that the Computer America website, Ben did the one that you see currently now, but evidently...
Murdered by Craig, but let's ignore that one.
We've done a refresh, and it's gone through all the approval things. So I think after tonight's show, after midnight, we will bring the new website online so you can see and check it out for yourself. It'll still be computeramerica.com. It's just going to have a whole new look to it, and that's again courtesy of my co-host Ben and his brother Aaron, and it's been a collaboration. I think it just looks a little bit more modern, a little slicker, and just needed a little bit of updating. So, and we'll be curious to think to hear what you think. All right, so you'll see that tomorrow. All right, well then let's get to our guest, because you're the gamer here in the family. I mean, this is what you do. I mean,
I dabble.
You dabble, yeah. Dabble's not the word. You play. You love video games, and you are our video game expert. Also, we have Grayson Hamilton. Who got his master's degree in video game journalism from the University of Texas Austin. He's one of our gamer correspondents. We're thinking about expanding our Gamer Tuesdays to two Gamer Tuesdays because the holidays are coming upon us and we have so many gaming guests. We thought we would actually expand our Gamer Tuesdays, so it looks like we're going to be doing that as well. If you're getting our show reminder, just you'll be informed. You'll be the first to find out what the weekly schedule is. We'll tell you there. But as I mentioned, our guest this hour is an attorney who specializes in video game law. His name is Ryan Morrison. And evidently, having worked for both a respected law firm and a successful video game company, Ryan decided to combine both worlds by opening his own office to help the industry that he loves, and that is video gaming, video game law. Ryan, welcome into Computer America. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well. How are you?
We're just doing fine. So why don't you tell our listeners, and when I say video game law, I mean, what exactly is video game law? Can it be defined easily?
Sure. So there's a lot of different areas of law, ranging from criminal to family law to intellectual property, and they all kind of hit video games eventually. The idea with video game law is to know all the law within the context of video games. So you guys, you work with computers, you're on the internet, you're doing a web show, you know that there's a lot of different laws for when you get online or when you're with a tech company than if you were creating, action figures from 50 years ago. So at the end of the day, it's really just entertainment law, but it's within the context of video games. You need to know how the writer for a story for a video game is going to get paid when things are 20 years down the line on the internet, as opposed to just gross sales up front and then, changing. It rewrites contract law, basically. Trademarks have to be looked at differently. Copyright has to be looked at differently. Patent trolls are a much bigger concern now as new technology comes out and people try to lock it down with the government. A patent lasts for 20 years and no one else is really allowed to use it. So you need to know how to combat that with all your new startups and figure everything out, one day at a time. So it's just a lot of new laws. Privacy is a big concern where, you have a Facebook app on your phone and it knows everything about you more than your parents do. So we have to help watch that, make sure the new apps coming out that are also tracking data like that they're not going overboard, and when they are going overboard, they have to kind of admit it to you in that thing you click OK on and don't read.
Yeah, really. Well, I guess it's like anything else. The internet really has changed the face of just about everything that we do, and video games would be no exception to that. I mean, problems that didn't really exist 15, 20, 30 years ago. A lot of it is new territory. There are no laws. I mean, something happens and there's no law written for it because it's a technology issue. Somebody's got to do something somewhere. I guess somebody gets sued and it gets taken to a court, and then laws are established. Basically, is that how? I mean, precedents are set because 10, 15, 20 years ago, these things didn't really exist, did they?
Right, and the biggest problem with that is everyone's just guessing right now. Even not that I would give guessing legal advice, but you know what I mean. There are no cases yet, so a judge won't you can't go to a judge and say, "Can I do this? Is it legal?" That's not how our court system works. I think that's silly, but it's not how it works. Instead, you have to try something, go to court, and then find out if it's legal. So there's a lot of just guessing right now with the tech startups, from Bitcoin to just privacy tracking apps. No one really knows what they're allowed to be doing when they get to just brand new technology. So there's a lot of finger crossing and just guessing by these startups. That's where, myself as a tech attorney, I come in and try to show them what decisions have come down and what things I would shy away from, because I know from experience that they're not going to make up a new law on the spot at a courtroom. They're going to take some law that was written 100 years ago that was supposed to be for newspapers and now apply it to your website. And that's dangerous, it's scary, it's silly, but that's what they're going to do. So we try to counsel people that way and keep them, yes, it's at the end of the day, it's never a sure thing, the law, but we try to at least give them an educated guess as opposed to just going in blindly with the brand new stuff.
So someone would come to you and say, look, Ryan, I'm thinking about doing X, Y, and Z. Is it legal, or or am I? What am I up against?
Right. So a good example, and they're not doing it, and we said I could write an article about it, so I'm not breaching any kind of confidentiality here. But somebody wanted to create an app where they were going to go into a football field, let's say at your local high school. It would look at the parameters of that football field through Google Maps, to get a satellite view, and then you would put on a headset, the Oculus Rift. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that.
Yes, very.
Yeah. So there you go. You would put on the Oculus Rift and then use a controller in your hand to run around the football field fighting aliens, and you would have to you physically move. It would track your GPS, and things would slowly come after you that you could only see through this headset. But it was a way to make a more active game for kids. Then the concern came up with, well, what if someone trips while doing that and breaks their leg because I made a monster too scary? Am I liable for that? Am I liable for a kid who's under 13 playing with it that borrows it from his brother or something? Because our laws change very drastically when a child's under 13. And there's a plethora of things you have to worry about when you're coming up with a new idea. And they're very excited. It's a new startup. It's a new idea, and it's something that they're very passionate about. And the last thing on their mind is the law. They're not ignoring the law or scoffing at it. It's just it doesn't even cross their mind. So that's where I got involved with Reddit, which is a giant website, giant community. It's one of the biggest in the world. And I go on there every week, and I just go into the game developer section, and I just answer legal questions for free. And the reason I do that is because I am a nerd myself. I love video games, and I know how passionate these guys are, and it doesn't take a lot of my time to go on there and just explain the basic laws to them, what a trademark is, what the difference between a trademark and a copyright are, just the basics. And so they can go in a little more comfortably to their startups and not just, again, be blind. It's the safer way to do things, because the more established companies that have been around 20 years, they know the law. They have a legal department. And when you have a good idea and you're not one of these big guys, the big guys come right after you, steal all your ideas, and knock you out of business. And I don't do pro bono in a courtroom. I don't do any actual good, but I try to do good in the video game space where I help these smaller companies stand up to the big guys. That was another way I got kind of on the scene initially, was helping against the Candy Crush stuff that was going on. I'm not sure if that made it to your news waves, but pretty much Candy Crush is one of the most popular games in the country, and they tried trademarking the words candy and saga so that no other video game or really any kind of entertainment device could use the words candy or saga in their titles or in their marketing. Obviously, that's a little ridiculous. I felt that was ridiculous, and the way they went about it was just atrocious. So I helped a lot of companies for free, just fighting against that and prepping them for the upcoming kind of battle they would be in. And it was an interesting thing to be a part of.
Really? Now, when you go on and you help people like this is also, I would think, and certainly a way of getting people, getting clients too. I mean, look, hey, get me some great advice, and I realize we need more help. I mean, do you make yourself available to these people if they contact you, if they like what you're telling them or don't like what you're telling them?
Yeah, absolutely. So to that regard, it's actually funny because I worked for politicians a lot of my life, and I've just been an advocate for things. And I kind of did this blindly. I went in there really just very upset that this company was doing what they were doing, wanting to help people. I was a newer attorney, and I said, I'm not doing much else. I can help these guys. And I went on there, I did that, and I think they could kind of tell that I wasn't on there scamming them or trying to just get free marketing out of them. And it turned into, my reputation growing with them, certainly, and it's absolutely led to, growth with my law firm and growth with myself as an attorney. Actually, right after this radio show, I'm flying out to Seattle. There's a giant convention called PAX, and there's PAX Prime and then PAX Developer, and I'm going to PAX Developer, which just has thousands and thousands of game developers that are going there, and one of the things they're going to be doing, hopefully, is coming to my panel where I'm going to discuss the law to them. And I would have never been asked to do something like this if I didn't have the reputation and the experience from Reddit and everything like that. So it was definitely a mutually beneficial thing. I was able to help them, and they were able to help my reputation grow and build my client base. So it's very appreciated all around.
I think it's also good that it's not only that you got some publicity for yourself, but it's kind of bringing attention to the fact that video game law is so new and is so unwritten, and that especially when you're talking about the kind of money that these bigger companies have, they can completely muscle this new, set of laws however they want it. So it's not just like, that you're getting big, which you are, but it's also the fact that, I think, just like Craig said earlier, just like you said earlier, when people go out and make video games, the last thing on their mind is this legal? It's, they want to make something that they're passionate about and that they love, but they don't think about it.
Yeah, it's definitely a great experience, and it is funny how I go on there to try to answer some basic legal questions, and then all of a sudden there's 20 questions about things that would make the top programmers at Google pass out from confusion, just the tech side of it. And I am tech savvy, but it gets to a point where I don't know what they're talking about, and I would have to sit down with them more carefully. And that's scary because I spend a lot of time playing video games. I spend a lot of time looking up tech stuff. I'm a loser.
No,
and,
I don't think so.
and when I don't understand what they're trying to do, you go now and you go talk to a judge who can't turn his computer on, and that's the guy who's making the law. So that's what's scary. That's the guy who gets to decide whether or not this program has stayed within the confines of what's okay, and he literally can't check his email. I mean, it's...
Well, there's a discrepancy there. Obviously, do you think that it's just like our law enforcement, the federal government now they have their own cyber crime division. These are people who have been trained, because before that they didn't really have it. Do you think our legal system needs to have courts or judges who are tech savvy and
like small claims court, normal court, and like an electronic court or something like that?
I'm so incredibly in favor of that idea. I've spoken about it publicly before, and I will continue to do so. I think not only at that lower level where it's, I'm sure most people know, but just to be clear, there's state courts and there's federal courts. Mm-hmm. Most of these tech decisions come down from patents or bigger cases that are usually in the federal courts, and there's more than one circuit. Mm-hmm. So the Second Circuit might completely disagree with the Ninth Circuit, and now we have two conflicting laws on what constitutes hacking. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of decisions like that they literally don't agree with each other. So the only solution in my eyes is to have a Supreme Court for technology. We've never had anything like this in our history where technology is growing so quickly and so many new ideas are coming out daily. Mm. We need a court to understand that. And instead, we have a Supreme Court when they get a tech decision, they either punt on it and they have no idea what was in front of it, or they make a decision that winds up shutting down half of our tech industry for 6 months until a new decision comes up and changes it. It's people who have, and again, I'm not hating on the Supreme Court blindly. I think they do a lot of good, but I'm saying they have no business in this space. They just don't understand it. They've proven that time and time again, and they have the best advisors in the country. When you go down to the lower courts, these guys just are making bad law daily that are destroying so many good ideas and so many good intentions. I mean, there's vaccines that we almost completed that had to be stopped because of dumb patent decisions. There's countries that can't grow produce in Africa because of our patent laws that don't allow these vitamin-infused rice plants to be grown. It's just, they don't know what they're doing, and they don't know the ramifications it has when they say things like, you can't do this on the internet without any kind of narrowing of that decision. So that's where we're at.
Yeah, and you make a good point. I mean, you need medical technologists. You need geneticists. I mean, there are so many different areas that would need areas of expertise. And I know technology is kind of a broad stroke where all these different medical technology comes under the umbrella of technology. And of course, obviously, our judges can't be, how should I say, completely educated in all of these different fields or areas.
Yeah, of course not.
That's not really. That's why you have the opposing sides will bring their own quote-unquote experts in on that to back them up or to talk about the different. But basically, when it's done, then it's still up to either the jury or a judge to make a decision. And how. I mean, you have experts saying yes, it's this, and you have other experts saying no, it's that, and then it comes to a judge who doesn't know how to run his email. You wonder how we're still around. Maybe we're not. They were not. Yeah.
Do you think it's better to break it down piece by piece on a case-by-case basis and try to explain to a Luddite exactly what's going on, or do you think it's better to relate to 100-year-old laws like you were saying earlier?
No, I think that it absolutely needs to be looked at with fresh eyes every time that something like this happens, because the laws that were written don't make sense anymore. I mean, there's so many archaic laws on the books that are controlling horrible things. For example, I mean, to go back to the Candy Crush thing, when they did this trademark, they also, the same category as video games was life-saving equipment. So if you were going to name your CPR tube, Saga machine, you couldn't do it. And that's, easy to laugh about, and that's a trademark and not the end of the world. But when you go over to patents and things, and some video game company has a patent on something that prevents the medical industry from utilizing it, well, that's insane.
But we do have instruments in motion to protect them. I mean, for example, when you want to, you can't, when you have a patent or a trademark on a particular thing, but someone comes up with the same name, but it's a completely different industry that doesn't really compete, then you really can't, you can't bar them from having that name. At least that's how I understand it, right?
Just a brief recap. That's exactly how trademarks work. So you don't own the name in everything, you own it in a class of goods. For example, Apple is the best example.
Yeah.
Apple computers is fine. Apples would not, they couldn't get, because it's a descriptive term, and you could probably register Apple clothing in another genre. The problem with that, though, is technology has all been kind of grouped into one class, because when these were written, again, these are written by people who didn't have a lot of forethought into the future, and things like life-saving equipment is grouped together with video games, and it shouldn't be.
But wouldn't that come out in the case when they would say, okay, well, then it would become apparent to say, okay, we have something here, and common sense tells you that medical equipment is not the same as video game equipment, and that would come out in that particular case.
There's no common sense in the law.
Well, I know
yes, I see what you're saying. But yeah, at the end of the day, though, there's 35 classes in the trademark world, and class 9 is video games and has a lot of technology in it. Yes, if you go to court, you could probably fight and win that, but it's never guaranteed, and that's an expensive endeavor, and a lot of startups with great ideas absolutely can't afford a court battle. So it's not like you can go there with a pro bono attorney. You only get a free attorney if it's criminal. If you're in there trying to chase your dreams or trying to better the world, good luck to you. You better have a 6-figure bank account that you're ready to blow.
Well, that reminds me, when you mentioned Apple, I mean, that's what Apple did when they came up with their computer, Apple Records of the Beatle. That was their label, and they said, no, you can't. But then, of course, it was a different area, and they were fine. But then Apple came out with the iPod and started getting into the music industry, and so they heard from Apple Records again, and that was a long story. So that's been going on for some time. Eventually, iTunes said, look, we'll take all the Beatle records and put them out, and then there was a big thing, and now everybody's happy. But yeah, and that's because Apple has unlimited pockets to do that. But you're right, when you're a small potatoes, and you can't get the return is only for criminal cases. This is not criminal. Then what do you do? Then you find yourself between a rock and a hard place, don't you?
Yeah, it's an unfortunate reality that we're in for, and I don't think it's going to be a long time. I think that the more the current 20 and 30-year-olds get into the voting age, because as everyone knows, teenagers and 20-year-olds don't vote, unfortunately. When they start voting and their opinions matter more, they're more tech savvy right now than older people. So it will become a hot topic. It'll become a thing that people have to worry about. Politicians have to make good laws on and come up with better ideas for. Right now, it's being ignored the same way, student loans have been ignored a long time. But now you see student loans on a headline in every newspaper. Soon that will be about internet privacy, and it'll be about, instead of just freaking out about the NSA, you're going to worry about mom and pop startups also that are doing the same thing the NSA is doing. It'll happen. We're getting there.
Yeah, you're saying time is going to solve this, because not only that, the judges who can't run their email are basically going to retire, and we're going to have newer, younger judges who are obviously then a little more tech savvy. So over time, because technology is so pervasive in our lives today, I think the later generations, as they start taking positions of power and become judges and whatever they do, it sounds to me like a lot of this will work itself out. Is that what you're saying?
Well, fingers crossed, yeah, or at least be a lot better than it is now.
Yeah.
It's possible.
But
Right.
That doesn't solve the problem for people who have these issues now, though, does it?
It does not. So that's why, myself and there's quite a few other attorneys now that have kind of joined up with me. We're we help as many people as we can for free, just to get the better laws on the books, so that the industry is not destroyed, because there's so many people fighting for privacy and things like that are very important, but there's no one just fighting for basic rights of a startup, or how to better the tech industry, or how to really get our best and brightest protected and not bullied around by a company like Candy Crush or King, who owns Candy Crush, with a bottomless bank account, just bullying them out and stealing their ideas and putting it in a farm mill to get a couple $100,000 from it and letting it go to waste.
You really don't like King, do you?
I really don't, no.
I just kind of picked up on that. I mean, it's exact.
Yeah, they're going to be at this convention this weekend, so I look forward to meeting with their attorneys.
Oh, really? You can use the audio from this show to play that for them if they want.
No, they're quite aware of my feelings of them.
Yeah. So what do you think?
The first thing they teach you in law school is not to talk ill of anybody in your industry, because you never know who your next client will be. But I've made it very clear I won't be working for King anytime soon.
Yeah. Well, so what do you think is going to happen from this? Do you think they're going to give you a cease and desist, or are they going to try to work with you? Or, I mean, after all.
No, I mean, I've not said anything untrue. You're allowed, I've made it very clear this is my opinion that they're evil.
Okay.
But I'm not saying anything that's not true. I think the tactics they use to steal these trademarks, which is what they did, is horrible. It's completely unethical. And it's shocking the USPTO initially allowed it. And they have not shown any remorse for it. They withdrew one of their applications and made a statement saying, whoops, but not really sorry.
Whoops is whoops.
Right.
Whoops is different than I'm sorry. There's no question about it.
Exactly. More like we got caught. That's bad.
No.
And there's a group called the International Game Developers Association. They're one of the only that I know of advocacy groups for video game developers. And they're one of the people that jumped onto this early in the game, and I was able to work with them. This guy Tom Biscaglia in Seattle, who's he's much older than myself. He was kind of the original game attorney that at least I know about. He was doing it when just Pong was around. He kind of saw that there was going to be a new need for a new set of laws and a new need for a new kind of attorney. And he's absolutely the end all be all of this very small industry.
He knew this when he saw Pong.
I don't know if it was necessarily Pong, but he was very early to the game. he did a lot of good. He continues to do a lot of good. He still works. He still helps the little guy. And when he's against you, it usually means you're wrong in this industry. He very rarely is on the side that loses, or the side that is doing the wrong thing. And he was one of the first to the battlefield, saying what King is doing is not just selfish for this one case. It's setting bad precedent. It's really ruining the game industry. To be clear, what they did was there was an old game called Candy Crusher, and instead of trying to win the case that Candy Crusher said, you copied our game, King. Candy Crush is literally a copy of Candy Crusher. And instead of fighting that, they went back and they spent a lot of their money, because, again, they make about $2 million a day, and they bought an even older trademark from a dead video game called Candy Crush, or I'm sorry, Candy Swipe.
No.
And they used that trademark and that, older mark that shouldn't have had any power to justify their new game and knock out this game they stole.
Wow, I'll tell you what, that sounds really slimy. But I'll tell you, we're at the bottom of the hour break. That's what the music means, and then we'll continue on talking about video game law. Ryan Morrison is our guest. He is an attorney that specializes in video game law. 347-884-8881. We'll get you on and get you through. We have a question for Ryan. This is the Computer America Show. We got a brand new news tips bulletin review coming up as well. Stay with us.
Hey everyone, have you heard about the No Hair Removal device that's sweeping the globe? If you want to go weeks without shaving and get smooth, professional quality results, here's our favorite host, Cheryl, for No Hair Removal.
Thanks. Hey gals, I love talking about my No. It's this cute little hair removal system that you can take with you and use almost anywhere at home or on the road. No more expensive in-office treatments, painful waxing, and no more wasting your valuable time. Got unwanted facial hair? No No has patented thermocon technology that works on all hair and skin colors, so it's perfect for using on all body parts. And now you can take advantage of this incredible risk-free trial. Get the No, the facial kit, a travel case, and a $100 discount shopping card, and you don't risk a penny to try it. Try the incredible No hair completely risk-free. Call 1-800-953-5415. That's 800-953-5415. 800-953-5415.
Looking for a best friend? Brother Wolf Animal Rescue has your best friend waiting just for you. The mission is to protect and enhance the lives of companion animals and the people who love them. Their no-kill rescue shelter is open year-round, making it easy for people to adopt their best new friend. This year, Brother Wolf will find homes for over 2,400 orphan dogs, puppies, cats, and kittens. All have ended up as an orphan through no fault of their own. Brother Wolf has created a safe, nurturing environment where these special animals can heal emotionally and physically until they find a lifelong home. Their life-saving transport program brings dogs and puppies from overcrowded shelters in the south to rescues in the north where homes are easier to find. Brother Wolf Animal Rescue is a 501c3 organization. To learn more about their life-saving work and to make a donation, visit their website at www.bwar.org. That's www.bwar.org. Help to realize Brother Wolf's vision when no animal is euthanized for lack of a home.
Who's a good boy?
Hello, this is Marty Winston for Computer America with a News Tips Bulletin review of the Octa Tablet Tail Monkey Kit. I apologize, but when they get clever with naming things, you're just going to have to listen extra hard. The monkey tail is a stiff, rubber-shrouded, flexible pipe. It attaches to a suction cup dock in the Octa Tablet Tail Monkey Kit. The dock is a hemisphere with a 3.5-inch diameter suction cup and a finger pump that attaches it to the back of a tablet or any other airtight flat thing. A swivel lock lets you hold onto a desired azimuth. The tail coils into a stand base or a pipe hugger or whatever else you can work out. It does a decent job of holding a tablet, though with its size so much larger than a tablet, and its weight a bigger multiple still. The specifics of an intended application will determine whether or not this is a wise mounting solution. Bottom line, an Octa Tablet Tail Monkey Kit is a bold, beefy solution to wobbly handheld tablet hassles. This is Marty Winston with a News Tips Bulletin Review for Computer America.
Welcome back to the Computer America Show. That's new music for the it's not bad. It's not bad. It's apparently we had some complaints about the old dial-up tone that we used to use. So,
Yeah.
but that one isn't bad. Might be a little bit loud, but we can tweak that later.
Yeah.
So welcome back to the Computer America Show. 33 minutes past the hour, and we have Ryan Morrison here, who is an expert on video game law. And we have been mentioning all throughout the first half hour about the woes of the Candy Crush and that kind of thing, and we were just getting into actually what had happened. So Candy Crush. Okay, wait, let me see if I got this right. King, who ripped off Candy Crush's game, made a new one called Candy Crusher and just ripped it completely. And then they're like, hey, you can't do that. But because King makes $2 million a day, which is an absurd amount of money, they were able to go back and buy an earlier trademark for the under the name Candy Saga or something.
Candy
Swiper, that's correct. And so they just completely blew the little guy out of the water.
Yeah, the names were a little off, but it doesn't matter. That's the general story. They found a loophole, and it's a good legal move. It's not a very good moral move, and that doesn't always matter, but that's what they did. And on top of that, you said you played some video games, so the term saga is very popular in the video game space.
Oh yeah.
They also tried to own the word saga. So there was a game coming out called the Banner Saga. Banner Saga was made by 3 people in a garage in Texas. They were experienced game developers. It wasn't a rinky game. It was a very good game. It actually just won a lot of awards this past week, and it was a huge success. King decided that they were the only ones that were allowed to use Saga. Now, Saga is quite literally a word for epic or long story or adventure, and it's a Norse Viking word. This game, Banner Saga, was a game about Vikings, and it was a game about a long story of Vikings. And they almost weren't allowed to use their name because of a rinky-dink phone app that, my grandmother loved. And they came to an agreement later on where I'm sure, I don't want to guess at the terms of the agreement, but there, I'm sure you can guess what some things were involved. And, that was, it was, sorry, I just got distracted by a message in the shower. That was not exactly the happiest ending, but that's where it went, and that's, the precedent that was set now is what King did was okay.
Really?
Right. They've never lost this battle. We got them to withdraw one before they lost on Candy, but on Saga, they're winning. That's why on Reddit, I still have a standing offer where if any game with the term Saga wants to fight King, I will not charge them $1 in legal fees. I just really want this to end. I don't think it's right what they have, and I would love to, assist any startup, any video game company, or any tech company that's in this space to just end King's reign of tyranny.
So was it, Ryan? So was it a judge that said it was okay? You own Saga, and that was it. I mean,
no. So and I'm sorry if I'm speaking too much.
No, you're our guest. That's what we want you to do.
The way it works is the USPTO. It's the United States Trademark and Patent Office. They or Patent and Trademark Office. Sorry, they are the kind of end all be all for trademarks until it gets to a court. And these things never get to a court unless it's it has to be a very special circumstance. What happened here is they applied for Saga, they got it. Banner Saga tried to apply for Banner Saga. King said, whoa, you can't do that. We're going to oppose your trademark. And that's literally a form you fill out online. That's not even going to court. You don't sit in front of an arbitrator or anything. You just go and sign a document saying they can't use this because of our name. The government said, okay, you're right. And
so that was a patent clerk then, basically, is what makes it.
It's a trademark examiner, but same thing, right? It's somebody saying, these names are too close, and a consumer. The only thing the trademark office cares about is if a consumer will be confused as to the source of the goods. So if they look at Banner Saga and they think King made it, the USPTO won't allow that. Now, me and you know that's ridiculous. One is a computer game and one is a mobile phone game, and they would never cross spaces. They don't have the same fan bases. They don't have the same players. And everyone who's touched a video game can tell the difference between a 30-hour-long story-based role-playing game and a little Match 3 phone app. Yeah. But to a government examiner, there is no difference.
It's a video game, right?
Right.
A video game is a video game is a video game, and that's the mentality that you have to that we're up against, evidently. And how do you overcome that? Really. I mean, take that patent that examiner, and give them, a 2-week computer course, or or get him buy him a smartphone and understands. I mean, he understands. I mean, what do you do? I mean, how do you get that to happen?
We write very long, legalese-filled documents trying to use old archaic case law to explain how there's differences even within a class of goods. So sure, these are both video games, but they're not the same genre. They have very educated consumer bases, and there won't be any confusion. That's the only thing we can do. Yeah. That works sometimes, and sometimes it doesn't hit at all. And unfortunately, it depends a lot on which of the hundreds and hundreds of examiners you get assigned.
Esquire Sugar in the chat room said it was not Einstein. Yeah, Einstein was a Swiss patent clerk, so I guess that's where that's coming from.
So there you go.
Yeah, exactly.
Although I think even Einstein would have had trouble, comprehending video games because he probably didn't play too many.
No, not back then. No, not back then.
Yeah, he just missed the cutoff now. But there's the patent system. It has a whole other mess of problems. But luckily, there's not really patents in video games. They just don't exist. There's very few. There's a couple. Even in tech, in basic tech, on your phone, the swipe to unlock feature on an iPhone is something that had a big patent battle around it. Oh. You don't see that too much in video games. There's not a patent for a game type or a game genre. You can't protect an idea, and you can't protect a game mechanic. So the inventor of chess, for example, could not have protected chess. He could protect his own rule book for chess, but not chess the game itself. If someone else wanted to make a different chess game that was the same game, just write their own rules for it, that's totally allowed. It's just the actual words you're writing down is what you're protecting.
Well, I mean, it gets out of hand. I mean, Apple patented the rounded corners on an iPhone. You know,
Right. Right.
And the look and feel of the operating system. You know, what do you mean by the look and feel? Well, you know, it's all very subjective. And
like I think Amazon tried to patent, taking a picture of something on a white surface.
I was just going to bring that up. That is the most ludicrous patent I've heard in the past couple of years. But they literally submitted a patent that they're the only ones allowed to take a picture of something in front of a white backdrop.
How did they fare with that one?
I honestly didn't follow up with it. I mean, it takes years and years to get a patent, so it's still, I'm sure, in the works. And
oh my gosh.
Fingers crossed that doesn't go anywhere. I'm upset with Amazon that they even submitted it because they're usually a lot better than that. They've created a lot of bad law with ebooks, for example, where everything you buy for a Kindle or for your Nook, you don't own that. You can't resell your ebook. You're not the owner of it. You have a license to display it on your device.
I think we should send a drone over there or something.
Yeah, right.
I hope you mean a delivery drone, not like the aggressive drone.
No.
You're right. Good clarification.
Yeah. So it's just there's so much. What I saw product placement was first when I first saw that. I think it was Grand Theft Auto or something like that, where you would drive in the car and a billboard, the street billboards that you would see when you're driving, but in the video game, the billboard had advertisements, and they were actually ads in that, and then somebody sued about that, and they were saying it's false advertising in video games. I mean, maybe that's an old case.
No, that's something very popular, and that's one of the biggest problems I work with these studios on is they think there's things called parody and fair use.
Mm-hmm.
Those two things mean, or I'll tell you first what they think it means. They think it means you can use anything in the world for anything you want in your game. You can use Pepsi, you can use Coke, and then if you put a little laugh at the end of it, it's parody all of a sudden.
Mm.
That's not how it works. Coke is a company. They have the trademark Coke. They should have every right to protect that brand.
Mm-hmm.
So when a video game wants to use Coke, they either need permission from Coke, or if they're going to try to do something with fair use or parody, which is where you would make fun of it or do something else with it, that's not just something that someone says, oh yeah, that's parody, that's it. You have to go win a court case saying that's parody, and you have to go against Coke's legal team, and you need to have millions of dollars to do that. These game companies don't have that, and they need to stop putting in products and people and things like that they have no right to use.
Well, yeah, let's face it, product placement is really very big in the advertising industry. When you go to see a movie and someone's drinking a Coke, in the movie or something, that technically I guess that's product placement, and we don't know.
Yeah, that's okay. But what the games were doing is they weren't using Coke. They were using like Coke with 2 Ks or something and saying it caused cancer. If Coke themselves wanted in Grand Theft Auto, that's when they would work out a licensing agreement. It would be totally fine. But what they were doing was making fun of Coke or things like that.
Okay, well then that certainly is understandable.
I mean, I would guess the biggest case of that would be people using pop culture references or like actual people and making fun of them. Do you see that happening a lot? Where they think they're being cheeky and then they're just kind of overstepping.
And they all say, well, Family Guy does it. Why can't we do it?
Exactly.
But yes, the rule is, most, and again, there's exceptions to everything, and every state's a little different, but the general rule is you cannot use somebody living in your game without their consent to it. You also can't use somebody recently dead because their estate still has a right to say, you can't do it. Also, the third tier of that law, as it is on the books, which is funny, is you cannot use a president if his wife is still alive. So if a president dies and his wife's still alive, you can't use the president in your game. The second his wife dies, you can. That's a good example of a law that makes no sense but controls something like the video game industry.
So how does Family Guy get away with all those?
So with parody, first off, Family Guy can afford to defend itself. The game companies I'm working with, and 99% of game companies can't afford to defend themselves.
Okay.
So that's the first part. On top of that, the first thing a court looks at is whether or not me and you will look at something and think it's a joke or think that person's involved with it.
Mm-hmm.
If we see Family Guy, we immediately think, oh, that's a joke. That's a comedy show. There's no way that, as in the courtroom, that Lindsay Lohan really wanted to be a part of that. They're making fun of her, and it's a joke. It's parody.
But
when your game has Michael Jordan come in and slam a basketball and give a thumbs up, there's the argument to be made that that's not a joke, that's not parody, and why would this serious sports game all of a sudden have that? They don't have the same rights Family Guy does in a court, which, with all the bad law out there, I don't think that law is too bad. I think that that's okay, that you can't just completely abuse the people in the public eye and things like that.
But Lindsay Lohan still sued him anyway, didn't she?
Right. Yeah. I actually don't know how that turned out, but that would be their defense with that it's parody or it's fair use because of that. And that's a good thing to Google for somebody in the chat room.
Yeah, really. All right. So now,
do you think that small? I'm sorry, Greg. Do you think that small game publishers like? I know that whenever someone has a great idea for a game, they're usually passionate about games and they just want to jump into it. But I mean, going into the future, before you launch a big title movie, you have an army of lawyers and you pour over everything. But I mean, with video games, it's really, I don't want to say spur of the moment because I mean it takes a long time, but it's usually a group of guys in a garage or something and they crank it out. Should the law kind of be on people's minds a bit more going forward?
Good
yes,
question.
And that's one of the biggest things I'm trying to do. That exactly what you just said. There's a difference between doing a business and being a hobbyist. The guy making, for your example, the guy making a movie with his friends in a backyard, he can do whatever he wants. He's not expecting to see commercial success. The difference with this and the difference with video games is that everyone is kind of on the same playing field, where you and your garage can make the same game that EA makes in their giant company in California, and both of your games at the end of the day go on Steam. I have access to both games just as easily as the other. And the thing that's changed the dynamic of entertainment with that is that now these guys who are hobbyists are all of a sudden having access to the world, and they're not following the laws that they need to be. They're not even considering them. And it's a very scary thing when these hobbyists are trying to play, big time game studio. Game studios have a lot of startup costs, as do all studios and as do all business ventures. And one of those big costs is legal advice and making sure you're compliant with the law. And the guy who makes an app in his bedroom and throws it on the App Store and sells it for $1, he's just as liable as a company that puts out a $60 game in GameStop or whatever. And they don't treat it that way, and they're putting themselves at so much risk. I mean, I literally just had somebody call me today who his wife has left him, he's lost custody of his children, and he's borderline homeless because of a $1 app he put in the App Store that infringed on a major company's title, and he lost hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars because of it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did he have the hundreds of thousands of dollars to lose, or
oh no, and he didn't incorporate, he didn't follow a terms of service, he didn't do anything he was supposed to do. So he went from making something fun in his bedroom to ruining his life. And that's what I'm trying to show these people. And you know what? He didn't know any better. I feel awful for him, but he broke the law. He did not follow what he was supposed to do. And if you're going to do this stuff and try to make money off of it, you need to look at the law. And I feel awful for him, but there's not much I can do for him.
Well, my father was an attorney, and I remember him saying, ignorance of the law is no excuse. I remember him telling you that.
Yeah, you're right.
And so let me. So he did a little $1 app. He got it up on iTunes or something, I assume.
You're right. It was in the App Store where you could go on your iPhone and download it and play it. It was a rinky-dinky little app.
99 cents. And how did that parlay into hundreds of thousands of dollars? That he didn't earn hundreds of thousands of dollars. He didn't send.
No, he earned about $50 from it.
He made $50, and he got sued. Is that what happened?
Right. And the way that this was a horrible decision, and a horribly strong decision.
Yeah, couldn't they just do a cease and desist, or they always give you a warning letter, and oh gosh, and he probably would pull it right out,
So these are all perfect questions because this is what I get asked all the time, and it's great for the answer. First and foremost, it doesn't matter he charged $1, and it doesn't matter he made $1.
Mm-hmm.
When you commit trademark infringement, you commit trademark infringement. It does not charging for your game doesn't give you free reign to do whatever you want with it, which every game studio I speak with thinks it does. They say, oh, I can use Star Wars in my game. It's free. No, that's not how it works.
Okay.
So that said, when you commit trademark infringement, the statutory limit is $250,000, and that's per infringement. So if you make a Star Wars game, for every character you rip off, for every logo you put in there, for every trademark that Lucas or I guess Disney now owns, which is hundreds of them, that's $250,000 per mark. And that's a lot of damages. This guy, didn't see near the max of what he could have been liable for, but he saw enough that it was life-destroying. And it doesn't happen to everybody. A lot of guys get away with it. But, it's like drunk driving was a colleague of mine's best example. You can drive home drunk 100 times, but that one time you don't make it is the only time that matters. And it's the same with these games committing trademark infringement. They get away with it for years, and then all of a sudden their entire lives are destroyed.
Did they at least, in this case, did they send them a cease and desist or something to kind of give them a heads up warning?
I would guess that these companies, that they don't have to choose between, this is a little guy in his bedroom. We don't have to do whatever. They don't have to decide between soft touch and hard touch. They can just stiff arm everyone and not look another way because they probably have a team.
Right, but they have lawyers. Or would they not have suggested, let's send this guy, a letter? And see
that's the interesting thing. First off, they don't have to send a cease and desist. In this case, they did actually, and he complied, but not fully. He thought he could get away with leaving it on one other website, and that was a huge mistake, obviously. That said, you don't have to send a cease and desist. It's absolutely standard practice, and I think a judge would treat you a lot more like a monster if you didn't. But it's not a requirement of the law. And the funny thing, or not funny, but the reality of it is, these companies actually have to protect their trademarks. They have to go out and sue all these people stealing their logo and stealing their ideas, or they lose their trademark. So if they don't go after all these rinky-dink mom and pops that are throwing their logos on everything, it would be like if I made a Mickey Mouse video game and Disney didn't stop me. All of a sudden, that is Disney now giving the world permission to make a Mickey Mouse game. And that's the way the law is written. That's the way it's always going to be with trademarks. And if they don't enforce their rights and they don't go after people stealing their stuff, that's it.
Wow, that's.
I guess the big one that always jumps to my mind is because I've been playing Blizzard games since '94. Blizzard and Defense of the Ancients 2. When Defense of the Ancients was created, using Warcraft 3, and it was played primarily on Warcraft 3, there wasn't a problem. And as soon as someone decided to take that, put that on the Steam platform, but kind of keep everything the same, the same characters, same everything, Blizzard had to go after them.
It's so good you brought that up, not only because I'm a huge nerd and love Dota, it's my favorite game right now, but because, hey, it's video games. So that also is a good segue to say that of all the studios I work with, besides maybe Activision, I think Blizzard is probably the best run, best morally right legal department in games. They could have absolutely destroyed. So just to reiterate, Blizzard put out a video game called Warcraft 3. Some guys made a mod for it, which they were allowed to do, and they created a game within the game. Then those guys who created that mod left and started their own company and sold that mod as a standalone game. But it used all the characters and content and gameplay from Blizzard's game. Blizzard, instead of shutting that company down, went to them and very nicely and very cordially, and again, I didn't see the communication, I didn't see the decision, but I know what they could have done and what they did, and they really just worked with them to change it enough where it wouldn't affect Blizzard sales and let them go do whatever they wanted with it. So instead of nuking a company into oblivion, they worked with them and changed it and made everybody happy.
Wow.
And I think it helped their PR. I think it was a great move on everybody's part. And, I still play the game today, so it obviously worked well enough.
Well, that's a nice story. I wish we could hear more of those.
Right?
this poor guy who just ruined his family and life. That's terrible. That's scary.
It is. And I hate to use fear tactics when I talk to these other studios because they all think I'm being a used car salesman and trying to sell them a trademark. That's not the case. It's a reality. If you're putting something in the marketplace, you're liable for it. If somebody gives you $1, or again, if they don't give you $1, if you sell them something though, or put a download on their phone, you are liable, and you need to understand that, and you need to follow the rules.
Yeah. In the chat room, they want to know if there's an Acme mousetrap work on Disney characters.
Only if Coyote puts it together.
Exactly. Wow, it's certainly eye-opening. We got less than about 3 minutes, Ryan, left. Can you just give us some general, words of wisdom and advice, and what you would recommend to people who are going to, dabble in the video games?
Yeah, send me all your money. And, no, but I mean, really, it's the main thing I try to get out there is the legal world doesn't have to be scary. It's very intimidating to get a cease and desist letter or hear about what a trademark is and all the things that are involved with it. But at the end of the day, it's not a scary thing. It's a very normal thing, and it's something you really need to consider and sit down with. It doesn't matter if it's boring, and it doesn't matter if you're scared by it. You need to sit with an attorney, preferably one who offers free consultations, who are all over, so it won't even cost you $1 just to get your basic answers and ideas in order, and do it. It's not a thing to put on your to-do list. It should be the first thing you do when you come up with a game idea, to make sure that that game's okay, to make sure you're not breaking any laws making it, and especially not breaking any putting it out into the world. And, get over your hatred of lawyers or your fear of the legal world and do it.
There you go.
I would guess it'd be a lot cheaper than doing all your work and then realizing, oh, you can't do anything with it.
Yeah.
Right. You can pay, $900 for a trademark now, or you can pay hundreds of thousands of dollars when somebody comes after you because you stole their name accidentally.
Right, exactly. Well, listen, to all listeners out there, if you have any further questions or you're listening to the show in time delay, which so many of our listeners do, just remember, go to computeramerica.com, go to our show notes page, and click on our show notes. You'll see today's show, August the 25th, and you'll see Ryan Morrison's name there in the description, and also we have a link to his website right there on our show notes page at computeramerica.com. And of course, if you want to go there directly, you can. Your website is RyanMorrisonLaw.com. But just go to our show notes page. We have the link to it right there, and you can see all this for yourself. Ryan, thank you so much for being with us here. This was a lot of fun, and certainly, maybe we'll have you back again. Another one of
I would love to. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Yeah, one of our Gamer Tuesday shows, perhaps, when we get you on. Okay.
There you go.
All right, Ryan. Thanks again for being with us here on Computer America. Have a good evening.
Thanks for having me.
And have a good evening. Good night now.
Good night.
Bye bye. All right, there it is. Again, RyanMorrisonLaw.com. Check out the website at ComputerAmerica.com, and you can see all that for yourself.
It's one of those nice little it's one of those nice little segments of the industry where technology made within the last 20 years kind of clashes with government, which has been around for, let's see, in our country, 400 years. 300 years. I'm sorry.
Everything clashes with government, don't you know?
Exactly. But technology is new.
Yeah,
I'm sure the cars had their issue back in the early 1910s, but video games are new.
He makes some valid points, and again, as you can check out the website at Ryan Morrison Law, and if you're thinking about getting into game development or something, certainly you can get some sound legal directions there at his website. All right, Ben, coming up in hour 2, what do we have for computer technology news? You've got some stories highlighted here?
I don't know if you remember, Craig. Earlier we did a segment when we did news about a month ago about how Twitch was, which is a popular streaming online streaming platform where people play video games and they stream it and they get many, many viewers. Twitch, the whole platform, was being bought out by YouTube, by Google, YouTube, what have you.
Right.
And and that was causing a whole bunch of
anxiety.
Anxiety because again with the copyrights, last hour, this hour, any copyrighted material had to be muted, and that was just ruining the whole platform.
Right.
We have an update to that one.
Oh, okay.
And I'm proud to say it's a good thing.
All right. And Burger King is going to be serving up a selection of free smartphones. Ooh. Would you like fries with that?
You cannot supersize it.
No, you cannot. Well, you could, but it wouldn't fit on your face. And then, and of course, we're going to have another news tip bulletin review from Marty Winston with a brand new music theme as well. You're listening to Computer America on the Blog Talk Radio Network, on the Boost Radio Network, and the IRN Radio Network.
Broadcasting live. It's the only national radio talk show on computers to air every weeknight. Computer America. Hosted by national columnist Craig Crossman. The first hour's behind us, but there's still more of tech news, tech talk, and your phone calls. We're being beamed nationwide at ComputerAmerica.com. You got computer problems? Bring them on. You're listening to Computer America. Computers run the world, and we run computers. Call us or send us an email to live@computeramerica.com.
Hello and welcome into Hour 2 of the nation's longest-running, nationally syndicated radio talk show on computers. This is the Computer America Show, and I'm your host, Craig Crossman.
And I'm your co-host, Ben.
And if you missed the first hour, we were talking about video game law with attorney Ryan Morrison. Very interesting. He said, I'm a geek. He says, I'm a geek myself, and so he specializes in video game law, and we have his website up on our website at computeramerica.com, so if you want to check out his website, ryanmorrisonlaw.com, it's all up there under our show notes page. Of course, you can listen to any of our shows. We archive all of our audio and video at computeramerica.com. Just go to our archives pull-down menu, and you can check it out all for yourself. Remember that that's probably all going to change tomorrow because tonight we're going to make the new refurbished website go live, and we'll probably what we've done is we've tried to consolidate things and put less under pull-down menus and try to go there more directly with buttons and
make a more pleasant browsing experience.
Well, yeah, exactly. So hopefully that will happen, and we're looking forward to what you think of the new site. It's been about 2 years. Well, how long did we have before Wix? Because it's another. We did it all on Wix, the website.
Pre-Wix, I believe, when going through all your information, you had stuff listed for 97.
Yeah, I know. Well, we've been on the air for almost 24 years now. So
yeah, 24 years, but I think your website was made in 97. So from 97 to 2012 or 11.
Yeah. Well,
it was about 14, 13 years. It was all on the same site.
Yeah, and we had to use front page, and it was terrible. It was horrible.
But I think like most companies out there, a good refresh and a new web page every year or two is good.
Yeah, I think so. I heard from Wix, and they said, "Oh, hey, you're refurbishing your website." I said, "Yeah." I said, "We're going to do it." So, I said, it'll probably be up sometime later this morning, in the wee hours, and I'll make it go over. And I understand, talking to them and then moving it over to the new site is very simple. It's just you don't even have to change domains or anything.
One good feature, I've been on the show many times where we've had Wix on, and we're talking about all the features that come with the Wix website builder. Mm-hmm. One feature that saved Aaron a lot of trouble, mm-hmm. which I don't think we ever talked about, was there's like a I keep wanting to use Time Machine, but that's not it at all. It saves a history of your website, so that every time you save, and I think it saves up to like 50 times or something like that, you can revert your website back to a previous save.
Yes, it's like Time Machine.
So, so it's like Time Machine. So like he saved one, and then he got an error code when he tried to save it again, and then when he reloaded it, he lost about 4 hours worth of work.
Oh! Yeah.
But luckily, thanks to that feature that we just found out on the fly, he was able to just revert it back to when he saved it 10 minutes prior. So there are new features all the time on Wix that even if they're not new, you don't know about them.
No, evidently not. But that's certainly that is a good thing, because if you miss if something goes wrong, you can go back and get virtually everything that you had before. It's not lost, which is really good. So let me just tell you briefly what. Now again, you can reach us at 347-884-8881. We're going to have another new news tips bulletin review from Marty Winston coming up with the new music bed, which Ben liked. Says it's a little too loud. We can make it softer next time. And let's see what else. Again, Otherworld Computing, our live video streaming page, brought to you by Otherworld Computing. And again, congratulations to Otherworld Computing for winning not one but two Stevie Awards from the American Business Association. They won 2 business awards for 2 of their products. Congratulations to them. Um, and again, anything that you order at maxsales.com, anything over $49, you get free ground shipping, which is like in 80% of the country. That's like 2 days. You can check out, if you're looking for solid state drives, they have them. They have their PlayStation 4 upgrade hard drives, a 1 terabyte hard drive, flash memory stick, even the screwdriver, $115, $114.99, or you can go for a 1.5 terabyte drive, which is $159. Just go there, check them out at maxsales.com for all of your computing needs. You'll be very happy that you did. Okay, so I think I guess we'll just go to and do some computer news. Okay?
Yeah.
All right, let's do it. Tonight's computer and technology news is brought to you by Slimware Utilities, the official optimization software of Computer America. You can visit them at slimwareutilities.com to clean, speed up, and optimize your Windows system for free. That's right, Kimosabe, you heard me, free. Everything at the slimwareutilities.com website is completely free. It's not a freemium model. It's not, it's crippled, or you can use it for 10 days and then you have to pay it. No, none of that. Everything there is free. Even their backup software, their Rec Image backup software, it's completely free. Download all of them. You should have them in your toolbox when you need them. They'll be there for you. Download them, save them, and then apply them when you need them. And you'll be very happy that you did that, and you'll thank us for it. SlimwareUtilities.com. Okay, so let's start off this Maximum PC story. Razer announced Razer Cortex to help you find the best gaming deals. According to the story, you will no longer have to browse for the best deals. One of the best things about being a PC gamer are the great video game sales we have access to. While Steam sales are the most well-known, sites such as GOG.com have their own great sales, and even EA's Origin has been getting the general idea. So to make browsing around easier, Razer has announced the Razer Cortex, which will compare prices for video games among other functions. This is cool. Razer Cortex deals will compare prices from digital platforms in an interface that will highlight the best prices and allow users to create wish lists. Once a wish list has been created, the application will notify the user anytime the game drops in price or appears in the store's deals. The application will also suggest other games users might enjoy based on what they're playing. Quoted, it was saying, our goal is to make games as accessible as possible to the Razer gaming community. This is from the Razer co-founder. By pointing gamers to the best options for their wallets without wasting valuable time digging through different stores, they can squeeze more gaming juice out of their budgets. With a solution like Deals, we're doing our part in providing as much needed dose of transparency to the gaming industry while enabling our players to focus on gaming. So for now, the application will only compare deals across Amazon, Gamersgate, GameStop, GOG.com, Greenman Gaming, Steam, and Origin, though Razer says that more will come. Razer Cortex also comes with a few additional features that include a save file backup function, screen capture gallery, and a game booster function that enhances the PC's gaming performance. And starting today, Razer will hold an early access event for 2 weeks where users will be able to sign up with a Razer ID. However, the deals feature only will be comparing prices in the U.S. with additional regions to be added after the launch. From there, users will be given access in waves to test the server's performance prior to its launch. Razer Cortex will be available September the 10th.
Very cool.
Yeah, you think that's something you'll use?
No, actually, I get my stuff for free. I'm kidding. Not really. No, the more equipment that Razer can put in the hands of the gamers, Razer, I fell in love with their Naga mouse, which had the 12 programmable keys on the side, and the whole mouse in general just came with 17 buttons. So Razer makes really cool equipment. So the more they can get out there, the better off they are.
Absolutely. All right.
Yep. All right. So the big one tonight, or at least the big one in my universe, is Amazon acquires Twitch rumors say acquisition was up to $1.1 billion. That figure is not accurate, I think.
Okay.
In a couple places, I've heard 1.1 billion. A couple others, I've heard 970 million. But all in all, everyone's agreeing that it's close to $1 billion.
Wow.
So, who saw that coming? Up until now, everyone was expecting Google to purchase Twitch. Rumors had been passed around that Google was going to purchase the video game streaming service for $1 billion. Instead of Google being the one to buy it, Twitch CEO Emmett Shear announced today that Amazon had acquired Twitch. However, Shear didn't disclose how much Amazon had spent, even with the speculation. So, quote, "Today I am pleased to announce that we've been acquired by Amazon. We chose Amazon because they believed in our community, they share our values and long-term vision, and they want to help us get there faster. We're keeping most everything the same: our office, our employees, our brand, and most importantly, our independence. But with Amazon's support, we'll have the resources to bring you even better Twitch." So the acquisition of Twitch appears to be a great deal for Amazon. Back in 2013, the streaming service had reported that there were 45 million users who viewed around 12 billion minutes of video.
Mm.
That's a
Wow.
lot, 12 billion minutes.
Wow.
So aside from primarily being used to stream games on PC, Sony's PlayStation 4 and Xbox One also feature Twitch, increasing the service reach and consumer base. So despite Twitch's popularity, it has been receiving quite a bit of criticism for the recent policy changes. Earlier this month, it would no longer save VODs for an indefinite amount of time. In addition, it has started to scan VODs for copyright music in 30-minute increments. If copyright music is detected, then 30 minutes of block of video is muted. But how do you feel about Amazon acquisition of Twitch? It's asking questions. Yeah, so Google bought Twitch. I'm sorry, Amazon bought Twitch instead of Google.
Hmm. Was there a bidding war, you think?
I don't think there was a bidding war. I think Twitch got a lot of flack, and to say that they saw their subscriber base, in an uproar, would be an understatement. The great thing about tech companies, if Nike makes a bad pair of sneakers, yeah, you can go on to online retailers and you can look at the reviews, but there's not going to be that much of an uproar. Whereas with anything, online, digital, PC games, services, what have you, the reaction from your fan base is going to be immediate. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You're going to hear people getting mad in real time. So I think when Google said they were going to purchase it, it didn't seem like such a good option anymore. Now when and of course Amazon coming out of left field doing it, very immediately, that they didn't give them time to stew on it and think about what that meant. But I think Amazon buying it would have been better than Twitch, or that would have been better than Google buying Twitch.
Now the question is, how is Amazon going to take this acquisition and turn it into something where you can buy more stuff from them? Because that's basically that's what they do. Everything they buy, most everything they do is it just facilitates them selling more things.
Little do you know, is that Amazon actually sells video games, and I know because Steam gets a lot of the PC gaming market. Because Twitch is so popular for streaming games, I have a feeling you're going to see a feature where if you are a fan of watching esports, if you are a fan of watching League of Legends or Dota 2 or any PS4 game, any Xbox One game that is streaming currently on Twitch, I feel like there's going to be a button on there very soon that's going to say, like this game, then go ahead and buy it from Amazon. We have the lowest price. And you are going to be able to go directly from Twitch into Amazon and buy your game there. And I'm sure there's going to be discount codes or recommendations from the actual streamers trying to drive sales to Amazon. But the two actually synergize very, very well. So to say Twitch, to say that Twitch was a bad buy for Amazon, even for $1 billion, I think Amazon could actually turn this into a really big part of their business.
Possibly.
So,
Possibly.
okay.
Possibly. Okay. This next story is well, for those of you, the GoPro enthusiasts out there, evidently, according to Engadget, GoPro has yet another thing that you can use with its camera, and it's called Fetch. And I'll give you a quick guess as to what you think it does. Yeah.
It sounds like it captures video of fetching.
Yeah, GoPro's new Fetch mount lets your pooch capture video in comfort. That means you can now mount a GoPro camera to your dog. It's easy to get a dog's eye view of the world by strapping an action camera to your canine, but making it stable and comfortable is another matter. You don't want Rover shaking off that costly video gear, and that's where GoPro's new Fetch mount should come in handy. The padded harness lets your dog carry up to 2 cameras, one on the back and one on their belly, in comfort, whether it's a tiny French bulldog or a bigger golden retriever. The add-on includes a camera tether and water resistance, too, so your companion can play rough without losing any equipment. You'll have to spend a significant $60 to make Fetch happen, but it might be worth the outlay if you're eager to record the adventures of your 4-legged friend. It's very cool.
And who isn't? I mean, at least on my Facebook page, it is flooded with people's pets.
Yes, of course. I mean, cat video, dog video, yeah. And now you can put a GoPro camera on your dog and let him have at it, and go and you can see where he romps and plays and poops and does everything that he does.
I don't think it's so much seeing where he goes. It's not like a tracking device. I think it's more from his angle, from his point of view.
His perspective, how he sees it. It looks really cute. I mean, you let your dog out in the dog park, and then you can watch the videos of him running around. I think it'd be kind of cute. It's only $60. Is not that bad an investment.
Well, no, that's for the harness. The camera, I believe, is $250.
Yeah.
Don't quote me on that, but yeah, it's somewhere around $250. And GoPro has the tendency to be the video camera that goes places that you didn't think video cameras could go before.
That's true.
They made their big mark by going into surf videos.
Mm-hmm.
They were the ones with the mounts for the front of the surfboard. They also went on skateboards, so you saw all those cool angles.
They went on the guy, with the suit that allows him to fly through the air. Is it?
He was I want to say Balmer. That might be his name, but that also might be the ex-Microsoft CEO. The guy who jumped from space.
No. They do this. It's like a suit, and he has when he extends his arms out, he sort of hang glides, and it goes like a rocket through the air. And he put a GoPro camera on, and they sponsored him to see that.
Yeah, they did that, and then the latest one that we did on GoPro was the one where they put it on a drone.
Oh yeah.
And then they flew it through the fireworks display.
Fireworks. That was gorgeous. That was beautiful. That was a beautiful video to watch. It's still up there too. I mean, that was amazing. And I don't know what kind of drone he used, but I'll tell you, it was amazing to watch. And of course, the one place that they picked was West Palm Beach, Florida, which is the one that we're familiar with and where we would. So it was fun seeing West Palm Beach from that perspective, and then flying through all the fireworks. It was very, very cool. GoPro, yeah, exactly.
So GoPro has a tendency to go places where cameras normally don't. So I guess the back of your dog is
is the next
breaking new ground.
Yeah, breaking where no pooch has gone before. Exactly.
Okay, so let's see. What next? New Android version. Not gonna go over that. Okay, this one actually I think could spur some good discussion. China plans to build an operating system to replace Windows and Android.
Really?
This one from Max and PC, Paul Lilly. Yes, China's own operating system could be ready by October. Often banning Microsoft Windows 8 software for use on government PCs, China is now reportedly planning to cook up its own operating system.
Linux? Maybe it's a version of Linux.
That is not out of the question. It is open source. The homebrewed OS could see a launch as early as October, and it would have the full backing of the Chinese government. China's motivation in building an OS of its own is to alleviate concerns that imported software from the likes of Microsoft, Google, and Apple could have spying mechanisms built into the code base.
Talk about paranoia.
That's a real fear, though.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, everything is programmed here in America, so... Well, I guess it's programmed here in America, whatever we don't farm out to the Indians. Is that racist? I don't know. According to Reuters, China's OS would debut on desktop devices before expanding into smartphone and other mobile categories. Quote, we hope to launch a Chinese-made desktop operating system by October, supporting app store by October supporting app stores, said an official OS development alliance. China banned the government from use of Windows 8 back in May, shortly after China began investigating Microsoft for antitrust violations. Tensions are high between China and Google, and the former saying that the latter has too much control over China's smartphone industry through Android. That's right, because even though iPhones are made in China, they're a bit too expensive over there. So Android really dominates the smartphone market because there is a lot of there's a lot of different Android phones. Like there's only one iPhone. And here in America, that works because iPhone's really popular, Apple's popular, so iPhone can dominate over here while we have Android kind of being fragmented and being a strong competitor. Over there, it's pretty much just all Android with its many fragments.
What do you think they're going to call this new OS?
Not the discussion I was going for, but it would be something that would just be right in your face. The People's OS, or China OS, Chinasoft.
Chinos.
I know, Chinasoft. I think has a great ring to it.
Chinasoft. Okay.
But I think it has a friendly sound to it. Okay. Anyways, the discussion I kind of had about this was, will it be a success? Because as you know, China, it's no big secret that their strong suit is breaking, reverse engineering, breaking it down and ripping it off, and putting on a new product that is actually not so new and is actually a little bit inferior, but they can mass produce it.
Do you think that's what China is going to do? That they're going to get a copy? They're going to take Windows and they're going.
That's what I was going to ask you, Craig Crossman. Is this going to be just a ripoff and it's going to be kind of sucky, or do you think they actually have the manpower?
Well, it's not that they don't have the manpower. I think they do, and they probably have the technological wherewithal. But writing an operating system is not an easy thing to do, and it as you know, it takes years and revisions and refinement, and I mean that's what goes on with these things. If they were to reverse engineer, and let's say they would take Windows and reverse engineer it so they would have an operating system, you can bet your bippy that Microsoft isn't going to stand by for that. They're going to they're going to pursue them, the government, in the court system, saying that they ripped them off, and I'm sure they would be able to.
I don't think China, going after China for patent or trademark infringement. We keep coming back to that subject. It's weird. Is like beating your head against a brick wall. I mean, especially when you have the backing of the Chinese government. How is that? And look, the operating system is made in China, made for China, and is backed by the Chinese government.
Maybe
in what court of law is going to say no, you can't do that?
Maybe we can get Ryan Morrison after them.
I don't think it's any of his jurisdiction, like at all. Like he's U.S. law based, But if it's made in China, made for China, and is backed by the Chinese government, you can pretty much guarantee that even if they did like a one-for-one ripoff, they're not going to get prosecuted in any way. Like if they tried to sell it in America, yeah, you could have some grounds there. But if they tried to do it internally, they wouldn't really be prosecuted.
Well, if they're using it for their own internal government process.
Well, that's just it. It's not just for their own. It's not just for the government. China, the government of China. It's for the people of China, the 1.1 billion people that need operating systems for computers and smartphones.
Well, that's just what we need. Is yet another OS out there that's not compatible with anything else.
But that again, that's one of the things. If it's not compatible with anything, why would anyone use it? I mean, operating systems are they can flop even if they have that much backing.
Mm-hmm. Yes, they can. I don't foresee that being a successful endeavor. I mean, they'll try and they'll push it until, but virtually anybody who wants compatibility with the rest of the world is going to have to use either, Windows or Mac OS 10 or Linux, and one of those three OSs in order to be compatible. I mean, if you want to have how are you going to feel? Well, maybe if you just live in China and you have and your only concern is communicating with the people in China, that's a big country, maybe you can get by.
Some of the biggest websites in the world, like, in terms of unique users per day, per month, what have you, some of the biggest websites in the world are only in China. They're run by the government, and they service, like they have a Chinese version of Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
No one in America is going to use the Chinese version of Facebook, but it's one of the biggest websites in the world.
Can we access it? What's the URL?
I have no idea. I could probably find it, but it's
Facebook.
But, no, it's not Facebook, but it's just one of those things where if you can use it exclusively in China, but not everything is made in China. A lot of the just because of what I know, a lot of video games are not made in China.
But more and more stuff is being made in China and India.
From a manufacturing standpoint, yes, but I think from a creative standpoint, like apps and computer programs and things like that, those are actually being made in America. You need creativity to do that, and I hate to generalize a country with a population of 1.1 billion people and say they don't have the creative types. It's probably wrong, but you just don't see it. You don't see the
at least
creativity come out of China.
No, but that can change. I mean, in a heartbeat, being 10, 15, 20 years from now. I mean, I remember when Japan, when something had
they had issues.
It said made in Japan. When I was a kid and I saw something made in Japan, it was a piece of junk. That's made in Japan. Oh, ha ha! And it was something that was. Japan turned it around in 20, 30 years. They became one of the country's leading technology. They became a force to be reckoned with, and they make amazing products, as you know. And so that's not to say that can't happen in China either. Look, granted, China's what is it? 1.7 billion. What is it? A third of the world's population?
No, that's like a seventh.
Seventh, okay. But
1.1. There's 1.1 billion in China and 1.3 in India.
Yeah, and there was 9 billion people in the world. Okay, so
7.
7 billion people in the world. Okay, so it's about 1/7. The point is that if you live in China and you only have to deal with China, that's the mentality of the past. Our globe is shrinking. We are communicating more on a global basis. Things like the internet make that possible. And for China to say, we can only be, for now, that's what's happening. But I think as markets expand and things continue to move forward, I think that eventually that will become a non-issue. And
markets are only going to become more and more interwoven. I mean, they pretty much already are. I mean, everything's outsourced to China. Everything's outsourced. Like, America has outsourced everything to China, and China outsources everything to India. And of course, there's Singapore, Taiwan, all that good stuff. I mean, it's everywhere. So, but China does have a market to cater to. Like, they don't have to cater to the Americans or the Germans or what have you. They have 1.1 billion people that will use this, and they can pretty much guarantee that no one is spying on them using it.
Yeah. Well, I think hopefully that mentality will change. It's like when communist Russia fell down, and I think eventually people.
I don't think it's like a totalitarian government kind of thing. I think it's more of a how Windows 7 has a market share of 46%.
Right.
I think if the Chinese government came out with their own operating system, you would see China OS is going to have a 33% market share, but only in China.
Yeah.
If the operating system is a success.
Yeah. My gut feeling is that right now I don't think it will be. I think they've got too much. We're an integrated. We're becoming more and more an integrated society with all these different countries, and if you want to, you're going to have to work with other countries, and to try to wall yourself off like that, I don't think it's going to work.
I think they're wanting to solve it. I just don't think they have the creative force to actually make a good operating system.
We got another news tip bulletin review from Marty Winston coming up. You listen to the Computer America Show on the Blog Talk Radio Network, on the Boost Radio Network, and the IRN Radio Network. Stay with us.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 120,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy and major car companies filing for bankruptcy, Cover America Auto Care has announced revolutionary, inexpensive mechanical breakdown coverage that is now available to the general public to save consumers thousands on auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for drivers to call who own a vehicle that is less than 10 years old for a free 5-minute quote and to see if you qualify. The number is 800-483-2514. Drivers who are covered with this auto protection will not have to pay for a covered repair again. This is the auto coverage now sweeping across America at a fraction of what dealerships charge and is now available to the public by calling today. The number to call is 800-483-2514. 800-483-2514. That's 800-483-2514.
Don't complain about your cable bill going up and up and up. Do something about it. Grab a pencil and jot down this special number. 1-866-663-MY-TV. The more cable TV rates go up, the better digital satellite TV looks. So, disable the cable and get more of your favorite channels in 100% digital quality for less money. Call 1-866-663-MY-TV right now to sign up for packages starting as low as $19.99 and up to 4 rooms. And there's no equipment to buy. That includes your free HD TV upgrade, your free DVR upgrade, and your free professional installation. And the best part, the pristine digital picture and sound. Call 1-866-663-MY-TV. So, what are you waiting for? Pull out your major credit or debit card. Call 1-866-663-MY-TV. 1-866-663-MY-TV. Disable the cable, cut costs, and get more. Call 1-866-663-MY-TV. 1-866-663-MY-TV.
Hi, this is Marty Winston for Computer America with a News Tips Bulletin review of the Klecker Graphite knife. Now, doing hundreds of reviews every year means getting in hundreds of boxes every year. And knife makers tell us that opening boxes is a leading use of knives overall. It's behind their use as kitchen cutlery, but ahead of anything else like hunting or tactical use. And we are, after all, limiting our coverage here to knives as tools. We've had dozens of knives in for review, and our favorites so far may have just arrived. The Klecker Graphite from CRKT, that's standard short abbreviation for the Columbia River Knife and Tool Company. It's named after designer Glenn Klecker and its graphite G10 side trim. It has both a blade top button and a hinge back push that lets you flip it open, fully open, with a single move. Once open, it locks to stay open. That's a safety feature. Keep it from closing on your fingers until you squeeze the back of the frame to unlock the blade. The stainless steel frame is skeletal, which helps reduce weight while looking cool. The 3-inch blade option we chose is smooth on the tip half, and serrated on the rear half. This was a 6-box day. It took fewer passes with this knife than with the other very good knives we've been using. Bottom line, the Columbia River Knife and Tool CRKT Klecker Graphite knife is one cool tool. This is Marty Winston with a News Tips Bulletin review for Computer America.
Welcome back to the Computer America Show. You know what? I like that music better.
Right.
I know the dial-up is nostalgic for a lot of people, but I like that.
Thank you.
All right, so
You know how many beds I have to go through to find something like that? It's not easy.
Good job there, Sherlock. So, welcome back to the Computer America Show. 34 minutes past the hour. We are doing computer and technology news. Just finished. Baidu, by the way, was the one I was trying to think of. It is the Chinese version of Google.
Baidu.
Baidu. There's a couple ways to pronounce it. It's the Chinese version of Google. It is number 5 in the world, and again, that's only servicing one market.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Google is used by every country, even China. But even just by serving China, Baidu is number 5.
It's hard for them to cut Google out. I mean, people need search engines, and to do what they need to do, and to say, oh, you can't use Google anymore. It's just.
Hey, they tried it. Actually, Google was banned in China for the longest time.
Yeah. What brought them back?
I think people using proxies.
Ah, okay.
Pretty much, like ProXPN, stuff like that.
I think everyone's gonna find it's hard to suppress the internet.
Oh yeah, no, it's the internet, and just in general is not something you can censor.
Genie's out of the bottle, and it's gonna stay that way. You can't put it back in, nor would you want to.
Oh no, the internet is a wonderfully horrible place.
Yes, it is. Okay. So is it my turn to do a story? Yes.
Your turn, indeed.
Okay. This is from Engadget. We were talking about the Surface 3 tablet, and the wonders of it. Evidently, the Surface 2 is still around, and Microsoft is cutting the prices for its Surface 2 tablets by $100. So they asked the question: have you been holding out for a price cut on the Surface 2 before taking the plunge? Well, you now have your chance. Microsoft has slashed $100 off the price of its second-generation Windows RT tablet, regardless of the model you buy. It now costs as little as $349 for a base 32GB Wi-Fi edition, while splurging on the 64GB LTE slate is slightly more reasonable at $579. Just be aware that the folks at Microsoft aren't doing this out of the kindness of their hearts. They don't even have hearts. Okay, no. Kind as it may. The Surface 2, I'm sure they do. The Surface 2 is nearly a year old, right? I mean, it's getting older. I mean, it's getting long in the tooth. And Microsoft is very likely clearing inventory, whether it's ahead of a new model or just to focus more attention on the Surface Pro 3. And don't forget, the Surface Pro 3 now is the latest version. They're saying basically with the Surface Pro 3 it can replace your desktop because it runs the full Windows version and runs Office, and it has has this really fast processor. It has an Intel processor inside, I believe. I think when Intel was on the show we talked about that, and so there it is. But the Surface 2 is still around, and again it's less expensive. So if you're looking for something. You don't need the full power of Surface Pro 3. You might want to check this out now. Surface 2 tablet from Microsoft. $100 less. Okay.
I guess everyone was waiting for that $100 price drop. It's your turn to jump.
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay, let's see. How about we do the...
You have some interesting popular science stories that I'm surprised you
We
haven't.
do, but I think this one is a follow-up to one that we did earlier. Which is this one from Wired, and it's the world's most expensive Superman comic just sold.
Oh, that's right. Yes, we talked about that. Yeah.
Yep. So a nearly perfect copy of Action Comics #1, aka the debut of Superman, sold for a record-setting. Are you ready?
Ready.
$3.2 million.
Oh my God! No wonder that guy is smiling in the picture.
Yeah, one comic, $3.2 million. It's sold on eBay, of all places. Another example of iconic comics selling for a house in the Hamptons amounts of cash.
3 point. He's got a suitcase for it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That's the guy. I assume that's the guy, Darren Adams, with the action one that he just sold on eBay. Boy, he's got a big grin on his face. Look at that. Now, what is that? It's a mobile phone store. He's in a mobile phone store of some sort. The background there.
He might actually be in an eBay storefront. They have those, I hear.
Could be, yeah.
Wow. So the sale of the 1938 comic book and he's apparently a comic book shop owner, so he's well within his element.
Wow.
Handily topped the 2011 sale of an equally pristine copy of the volume for $2.16 million. Yes, in 3 years, he racked up another $1 million on top of it from the last one that was sold.
Wow.
The price sets a new benchmark for comic book sale on eBay and suggests stratospheric prices for the most coveted comics like Action Comics #1 and Detective Comic #27, which mark Batman's debut, aren't returning to Earth anytime soon.
I'm just kind of curious. Maybe in the article, but I mean, how did he? He's in the comic book business or something, but how did he get this thing? And how was it in such a did he buy it from some little kid who didn't know what he had? You know.
I don't know anything about these kind of markets, but I have seen many reality shows, so I'm an expert. If it's anything like firearms, if it's like jewelry, if it's like cars, if it's like anything, you start to get these these circles, like the inner circles. Like I have a really, really pristine old car, and I know a guy who knows a guy who owns it, and and I can sell it. These things probably change hands from like unless someone takes it out of circulation, like unless this guy who just paid $3.2 million was an old guy who really loved comics and was just looking for that ultimate nostalgia.
Yeah.
Unless he took it out of circulation. More than likely, this was bought by another comic book salesman.
Yeah, because he's not that old looking. I mean, certainly not from 1938.
So he's obviously in the business of finding rare comics and selling rare comics. And just selling comics in general. So unless again it was taken out of circulation, this is probably going to be popping up on the market again eventually.
Wow. Okay.
Hopefully for even more money.
Okay. Continue the article.
So yeah, bidding on the comic, which only 50 unrestored originals are known to exist, so this is one of 50, started at $1 million. Just 48 people placed bids. The name of the buyer has not yet been disclosed, but Adams said in a statement he is proud to have owned the most valuable comic book in the world. Working with eBay on this auction allowed me to share this rare treasure with our global community and ensure that the next owner is just as passionate about its place in history.
All right, so he's working with eBay. He didn't just go online and put this up. He probably talked to somebody at eBay. Then I would think too.
I think when you hit the 1 million starting point, I think you need to call someone over at eBay and say, "Hey, this is going to be going on."
Yeah, I would think so.
Because you can't have some random person from China saying, "Oh yeah, no, I totally buy that," and then they cancel their PayPal. Payment of $3.2 million.
Yeah, I don't think so. I'm sure this has some extraordinary additional handling for things like this. I would think so. I would think eBay probably has a special department for something like this.
Yeah, no, they probably do for big ticket items. So a portion of the proceeds from the auction are being donated to the Christopher and Donna Reeves Foundation.
Oh, of course, he was the actor who played Superman in the 70s.
Yep.
Movies, exactly. I did not know that Robin Williams paid for his medical bills. Did you know that?
Say what?
The Christopher Reeves medical.
Oh, that Robin Williams paid for Christopher Reeve's medical bills?
Yeah, I did not know that.
I didn't know that either.
Yeah, your mom told me that, as a matter of fact, that he paid for his medical bills.
Robin Williams, he was a good guy.
Well, they were good friends in school, and evidently they had some history together. And, yeah, exactly.
Very neat.
Very neat. But there it is again, Action Comics in its own suitcase with machine guns on both sides, protecting that thing. Wow. But the thing that impressed me though was the pristine condition that comic book was in, because what was it? The actor.
You got this.
The actor who owned another Action Comics, it was nowhere near as good a condition. This looked like it was brand new, spanking new. It had been hermetically sealed.
From 1938.
From 1938, yeah. I don't know how they kept it in such pristine condition.
Because I mean, like, you got to figure in 1938 when this was being printed, they were selling for 5 cents and they were bought mainly by kids.
Yeah, exactly.
So grubby candy fingers and thrown around and passed around and read a million times, and, maybe torn out a picture of, drawn on, that kind of thing. So just the fact that, they said there's only 50 unaltered, pristine magazines out there, comics out there, kind of says, what could be valuable tomorrow.
Yeah, Nicolas Cage, by the way, was an actor.
Nicolas Cage, yes, that's right.
He owned one of these and evidently sold it But his particular edition was nowhere near the pristine condition of this one, which is probably one of the reasons why it's sold for such a high amount of money.
Oh yeah, no, this thing is flawless.
Yeah, it's flawless. Okay, getting back to some of these stories. Now, this next one is I mentioned in the promotion. Burger King is now serving a selection of free smartphones. Again, according to Paul Lilly at Maximum PC, one Big King and a large soda. Would you like a smartphone with that? Is the headlines. And interested in the LG G2? What about the Samsung Galaxy S4 Mini or Galaxy S4 Active? Believe it or not, these represent a small selection of smartphones that you can get for free through Burger King's website. Yes, Burger King, the fast food chain that just brought back chicken fries to go with your Whopper. Apparently, Burger King really, really wants you to download and use its new mobile app for Android. Of course, the standard 2-year service agreement applies, with phone options for AT&T, Sprint, and Verizon. No love for T-Mobile in this deal. And you have to order the phone online at a special portal on Burger King's website using the coupon code FREEPHONE rather than have an employee add a Motorola Moto X to your bag with extra ketchup. What's surprising, other than the odd pairing of Burger King and smartphones, is the selection of devices. I mean, you won't find the latest flagship models, but the selection is far from miserable. In addition to the ones already mentioned, other notable entries include the LG Optimus G Pro, Samsung Galaxy S3, HTC One, the M7, not the M8, and LG G2, just to name a few. So if you'd rather have just the app without getting a new smartphone, you can also download it from Google Play Store. There it is. So a free phone with your fries.
Cross promotion. You never know who's going to be doing it.
No, I mean, there it is. They want you to use their app. I don't know what you can do on the the Burger King app. You can place your order ahead of time. I think there's a couple of nifty things you can do with the app, and the Burger King app, that is.
Yeah, I mean, if you eat at Burger King, why not?
Why not? You don't like Burger King?
Personally?
Yeah. I had a Whopper there, I think the last 2 weeks ago I had a Whopper.
Yeah. Not my favorite. Technically no fast food is my favorite, but Burger King, nah, not really.
Plain broiled. I like
They're good guys, don't get me wrong. I'm just not a personal fan.
Okay.
So, this next story, this is from Popular Science, and yes, I think it is worth mentioning. I do not know why, but, let's talk about it. So Popular Science, the weird ways of superfluid helium.
Superfluid helium.
Yep.
What is?
So as helium is cooled to lower and lower temperatures, greater and greater fractions of it demonstrate quantum effects.
Really?
So with temperatures below negative 268 degrees Celsius, liquid helium keeps MRI machines and particle accelerators properly cooled. Take liquid helium's temperature even lower than that, however, and things start to get a little less practical and a lot more weird. So at lower and lower temperatures, greater and greater fractions of liquid helium become superfluid. Superfluid helium can do some seemingly impossible things like climb up the walls of containers or leak through pores that are too small for normal liquid helium to pass through. At this point, superfluid helium is demonstrating the effects of quantum physics, which makes it especially tantalizing to physicists. Now, in a new study, an international team of physicists has taken images of tiny droplets of superfluid helium, finding that even very small amounts of the superfluid helium act unusually. So first, the team fired nano-sized droplets of superfluid helium across a vacuum. And meanwhile, they fired a free electron laser through the vacuum so that the laser would intercept the droplet and take images of the droplets as they were when spinning past. Those images revealed that droplets each contained more than 100 quantum vortices, tiny whirlpools that filled the droplet in a 3D array. They help maintain the structure of the droplet so that even when they're spinning at speeds that would cause normal liquids drops to fly apart, they remain stable single droplets. That said, the high spinning speed of the droplet did make many of them take on an egg shape instead of a sphere. 1% of the drops even took on strange wheel shapes. So, don't expect them in anything like MRIs to come immediately out of this research like this. Instead, superfluid helium studies are generally meant to be windows into quantum mechanics because all the atoms in a superfluid are the same quantum state. This means that they create larger quantum mechanics driven effects that scientists might not be able to see otherwise. Quantum mechanics in turn has occasionally found its way into practical applications. This kind of physics has helped scientists figure out lasers, transistors, and superconductors. In fact, the name superfluid comes from the word superconductor. The idea that superfluid helium conducts heat very well, the way superconductors conduct electricity very well. What does this mean for you? Probably nothing. But
interesting.
But it's interesting. But I mean, look at quantum computers. That computer technology show. That's what we are.
That's right.
This is helping scientists, understand quantum mechanics.
Yes.
So, I have absolutely no way of knowing, and I am not smart enough to know. But hey, this could help you get quantum computers.
Well, it could be. Wow.
Yeah. There's a lot of words in there.
A lot of words.
Science is big words.
Yes, I know. Remember WhatsApp?
Yes.
They evidently continues to grow after Facebook's acquisition. It now has 600 million users. So evidently the acquisition by Facebook doesn't seem to have slowed down the app at all. Because back in February, if you remember, we reported that Facebook spent $19 billion to acquire messaging service WhatsApp. Since then, its user base has continued to increase at an impressive rate. WhatsApp founder and CEO announced on his Twitter account that WhatsApp has reached 600 million monthly active accounts. This guy made $19 billion from Facebook. I would think that he would be in Tahiti now, sipping on Mai Tais. What are you doing?
He would be owning Tahiti.
Yeah, I know, really. Gosh. Evidently, his tweet read, now serving 600 million monthly active users. Yes, active and registered are very different types of numbers. This means that the user base has grown by 100 million since April, when it was revealed that there were 500 million users. Other data from that time period includes a daily record of 64 billion messages that have been handed within 24 hours. Of that, 20 billion were sent and 44 billion were received by users. What will be interesting to see is if and when Facebook's $19 billion investment will pay off. WhatsApp lets consumers use its service freely for 1 year, but when that year of service has ended, they are charged $1 per year to keep using it. Wow, I think they can afford that. Unfortunately, we don't know how many people are actually paying for the service at this point, or how many continue to use the service when their free period is up. Despite such a large user base, it's enough to charge $1 a year. Is it enough to charge $1 a year, and will Facebook make back its money? So then we'll have to see. I mean, if you have 600 million people, and each of them pay just $1, well, that's $600 million. Let's face it. So.
But will they make their money back? I don't know.
I don't know.
There's that inherent risk when you buy a free app, and then when you have to find a way to monetize it. I mean, Twitter had the worst problem with that. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Twitter had that user base of 900 million people.
Mm-hmm.
But Twitter making money, my God, that was a 7 to 8 year long battle.
That they finally did.
Yeah, they actually finally did, start turning a profit like a year or two ago. But I mean, for about 5 years there, Twitter wasn't making any money, and they were just kind of building up subscribers and not really knowing how to monetize it. So but I think the problem with this is when you get a completely free app and you start charging $1 per year, sounds like nothing.
Mm-hmm.
But when they ask you to put in your credit card information, I feel like people are going to delete that and download another free app, like, immediately.
But can you do that?
Wait, what do you mean, can you do that?
Well, it would have to be under a different name. It couldn't be under your account anymore because
Well, no, it wouldn't be under the same account, but I mean, it would just be, instead of going to WhatsApp, you'd go to whatever the
I agree.
new.
Probably a lot of people would do that, but for $1, I don't know.
$1 a year doesn't seem like a lot, but I think it's the moment when you're putting in your credit card information, you're going to switch over. It's got to snap in your mind.
Do it with PayPal. Make a PayPal payment of $1.
But even when you started putting in your PayPal information, you're thinking, okay, now I have to pay money for this, or I could go somewhere else and do it for free. I think Facebook kind of jumped the gun on this one. $19 billion, huge investment. I would have advised against it. They didn't contact me on that particular deal.
I'm surprised.
I know, they usually do with their bigger cases. Yeah. But, it might work. Good luck, I guess.
Wow.
I think it's going to be that moment when you're putting in your information that people are going to say, there's about 200 other different messaging apps I could use. Why am I paying for this one?
No, that's probably true. Do we have time to do
we have one quick one about Intel. So Haswell E, we've been talking about them forever. Intel, we've had them on the show talking about it. It's their new line of processors. There's going to be a launch of it on August 29th, and pricing. There have been several rumors already, along with another online leak. This time by a Dutch e-retailer. Okay. So we're looking at about $473 for their lowest of the Core i7s, going up to $704 for their Core i7 593K, and then all the way up to $1,248 for their Core i7 5960X.
Wow.
With 8 cores, 16 threads, 3 gigahertz clock speed, and 20 megabytes of L3 cache. So, but of course, hyper stuff, I'm sure it's going to be much, much faster, and you can overclock that. So, looks like anywhere from about $400 to $600 to $1,000 for these processors. The new Haswell processors.
Yeah, exactly. And they're available now?
No, August 29th.
All right, in 4 days from now, exactly.
Well, in August 29th, they're going to be launched. I'm sure they'll have an actual, you can buy date.
Exactly. Especially if you're into designing or building your own computer or updating the one that you have. Will it work with existing motherboards?
I would assume so.
Yeah, exactly.
I would assume so.
Okay.
But I mean, if you're dropping almost a little bit over $1,000 on a processor, you're not just trying to beef up an old system. You're trying to build a new, really powerful system.
Yeah, probably. I would think so. What processor do you have in your computer right now?
Core i5 3.5 gigahertz.
Okay.
I've no idea what the prog number is, but it's about 2 years old. I need to start talking about upgrading.
Yeah. Can you drop a Haswell processor in that motherboard? Probably not. There are many websites you can go to out there. Just a quick Google search, and you will find backwards compatibility and compatibility all over the place. Okay. But compatibility is something you want to take seriously, folks. I would think so. Yeah, exactly. Well, you got yours from Origin PC. I'm sure you can ask them, and they would probably tell you what would work. They would probably know.
Origin PC, if you went to them and you told them what you had and what you want, they tell you if it would work or not.
Exactly. All right. Well, coming up on tomorrow night's show, again, thanks to Ryan Morrison for that his views on video games.
Tell me, Craig, did you think video game law was going to be an iffy subject?
No, I thought it would be a good subject. I thought it was very good, and it was very informative. I'm glad he was here. You have to have him back on. Tomorrow night, we're going to have Lenovo on the show. That's right. And there are a lot more than just for business with a ThinkPad, okay? We're going to talk about PC gaming in Lenovo, too. It's going to be a really entertaining show, and talk about their newest 4K laptops and notebooks. 4K! Wow, that's amazing.
That's more than 3K.
Yeah. And then, of course, in hour 2, we'll have more computer and technology news brought to you by Slimware Utilities, the official optimization software of Computer America. Okay. So that wraps it up. Don't forget that we're going to have our brand new, shiny, refurbished website up tomorrow, thanks to Ben and Aaron. So look for that when you go to computeramerica.com. Should be up tomorrow night.
And we're looking for feedback, folks. Don't be shy.
So until tomorrow night, this is Craig Crossman, hoping that your hard disk never becomes floppy.
10 seconds.
We'll see you tomorrow night.
Good night, old website.
Thank you for using Blog Talk Radio. Goodbye.
Okay, so we're off the air, and yet we still have our live Computer America video streaming page up. And we'll say goodnight to everybody, and hopefully we'll see you tomorrow with Lenovo. Yes.
Yeah, that's right. We are having Lenovo on tomorrow night.
Yeah, that should be. Yeah, I think that should be a good show, really. All right, we'll see you all tomorrow. Until then.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.